I saw that Battlefield 6 broke 500,000 concurrent players during the beta. That's an incredible achievement during a beta.
That beta weekend was probably the most fun I've had in Battlefield since 1. More fun than anything I did in Battlefield 5. Definitely more fun than anything I ever did in 2042 because I strongly disliked that game. Battlefield 2042 launched fucked. Even like the simple things that you take for granted, like walking around and aiming and shooting, was all bugged.
Overall, I had a pretty good impression of the game, even from this small little bit of it I got to see. And honestly, I wasn't that excited that it was coming out, and I could care less. And then I played the beta, and I'm like, you know what? This could actually be cool.
This game is going back to fully like modern warfare theme, and they've doubled down that they're not going to allow for silly skins being added to the game or anything like that. Battlefield 6 is in beta and it's miles ahead of anything 2042 was achieving.
It's weird how much faster paced it is. I definitely see it as them appealing to COD.
Should we talk about some Battlefield 6? I played it for 12 fucking hours this weekend. At least 12 hours. Peter, you played it as well, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yep.
I know you did. You played it with me.
No, that wasn't me. That was my stand-in.
What did you think?
I liked it better than several of the previous versions. From what I've seen, I like it even a little better than 4.
Wow, God, hot off the bat.
Well, mostly because from what I've seen, because 4 was very vehicle centric. Some of the maps in 4 were just absolutely massive. I'm sure they'll have some big maps, but just from what I've seen, the map seems a bit more conservative. The vehicles don't seem as in your face, which was a huge issue I had with 3 that they carried on to 4. It's much faster paced. The time to kill is very short. The player move speed is very fast. They parkour over like objects incredibly fast. I remember commenting that Sean, I saw him like go over like 4 walls in the matter of like 2 seconds. He was just choop, 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 without even breaking speed. And I remember he commented that I used my defibs on him while running full sprint without losing any momentum. Just so it's fast. It's very fast. I wasn't used to it.
Yeah, I think the what you said about the defib kind of encapsulates how things have maybe changed a little bit from the last games, because it's like they've gone out of their way to eliminate all downtime. So you don't even have to like charge defibs. I don't know if that was a thing in the past. I can't remember. But either way, something about it is just, you, like I said, you sprint around. You don't have to lose momentum at all. You just sprint around and go beep, 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 and revive like 16 people. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really
Which you
funny.
need to do, because like you said, people spawn so fast that they mostly don't even wait for the defib. I mean,
yeah.
Oftentimes I won't even get to them in time, and they'll just respawn. It's weird how much faster paced it is, but I definitely see it as them appealing to COD.
I see a bit of that. Yeah, I get a bit of that vibe. Yeah, but no, I mean, I loved it. It was probably that beta weekend was probably the most fun I've had in Battlefield since 1. So it was more fun than anything I did in Battlefield 5. I didn't enjoy that game very much, and it was definitely more fun than anything I ever did in 2042 because I strongly disliked that game. But it's also funny like talking about Battlefield 2042 because on that game's launch, like not just beta but on launch, they didn't have a scoreboard working. They also didn't have like multiple basic features working, but the meme that everyone brings up is the scoreboard. Like Battlefield 6 has a scoreboard already. It's already comfortably winning in the in the beta process. Battlefield 2042 launched fucked. It launched with like even like the simple things that you take for granted, like walking around and aiming and shooting, was all bugged. When 2042 came out, it was all glitchy. The sensitivity would like change by itself while you're aiming around. The walking was like floaty. Battlefield 6 is in beta and it's miles ahead of anything 2042 was achieving at this point in the at this point in the development cycle. Oh yeah, 2042 was bizarre. They made a new game mode that was 64 versus 64, double regular conquest numbers. The maps were so bad that they were just like acres and acres of fields, and then like a couple of buildings, and then another acre of fields. That was every map in 2042. It was hilarious. It was like the maps on Armor that are designed for you to play like an actual milsim war. They were like Armor maps.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask y'all about is what is the charm of the new one that the old ones didn't have? Like, what prevented you from being Battlefield fans and being ride or die with Battlefield? And what is it about this new game?
It's very much kind of like a return to form attempt. So the last one that we all liked was 10 years ago now at this point. It came out in 2016, so 9 years ago, my bad. This game is going back to fully like modern warfare theme setting, and they've doubled down that they're not going to allow for silly skins being added to the game or anything like that.
Can I ask a really dumb question? Do they feature a campaign storyline, or is it just multiplayer?
Yes, they do, mostly. I don't think...
they do.
I don't remember if 2042 did, because I didn't play it. I only played the multiplayer for like a couple of hours. But
Okay. I only know this because I literally looked it up a few minutes ago. But I think it was one of the few games to not have a campaign. And honestly, I wouldn't know otherwise because I've never touched campaign on a Battlefield game. I've just jumped straight into multiplayer. No. Like I may have tried it for like a half hour and been like, this isn't for me. Even in Bad Company, I remember trying single player. Like, why aren't I just playing multiplayer? This isn't nearly as fun.
My image of Battlefield has always been a multiplayer game franchise, not one with a campaign. Whereas Call of Duty is kind of the opposite. I've kind of thought, at least the Black Ops games, I've thought of them predominantly as having a really cool, deliberate campaign, with twists and stuff. But yeah, with Battlefield, I've always just thought of them as just multiplayer games.
Yeah, no, they've always been single player out of necessity, multiplayer first.
I mean, that's why they exploded. The multiplayer. It was so solid.
Sense. Battlefield 1, the game that for me is like the bar for the franchise, the pinnacle, which is the Battlefield 1.
The pinnacle.
1. Yeah.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Don't speak ill of Bad Company 2, my friend.
I won't speak ill of Bad Company 2.
He just
go. How dare you say that about Battlefield?
And it had a really cool anthology campaign as well, where you played like 3 or 4 different stories, and a couple of them were actually really good. But no, they've never been a campaign-centric franchise. It's all been multiplayer first. They're kind of there out of necessity.
Well, it's clear that whatever they've hit on recently, whether it is publicly shaming and distancing themselves from the concept of silly skins, but I saw that Battlefield 6 broke 500,000 concurrent players during the beta. That's an incredible achievement during a beta. I mean, I'm very excited to see how it launches and honestly to see how COD reacts, because it just seems like a lot of people are dissatisfied with the state of COD, and they're seeing the grass across the street, and they're going, "Hey, it looks better to me." So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it shakes out.
One of the lawns looks a little lusher than it normally does on the other side, whereas their lawn is starting to look like clown colors.
People say Call of Duty is like too big to fail and stuff, but the competition has been absent for 10 years. Battlefield have just released 2042, and before that, Battlefield 5, the weird prosthetic alternate universe World War II game that everyone hated, and then Battlefield 2042, which didn't even work. No one played that. It was abysmal. What else are you going to talk about in terms of competition? What? Halo? They released one, and it was probably one of the worst. Okay. So like I said, there hasn't been a lawn to jump to for a long time now. So this is, now that one exists, everyone is like, if you imagine people trying to dive off of a sinking ship, and everyone's stampeding over each other. That's how I kind of imagine it right now.
I feel like there's always been a lot of crossover between Call of Duty and Battlefield players, just because how similar they are. I mean, obviously they'll have their exclusive players. But I feel like they're just so close that it's hard to only have experienced one and not the other,
Well, I've always crossed over. I've crossed over my whole life between both. Yeah. Well, between any FPS, basically.
Yeah. I have to say I've been mostly a Battlefield fan, only because since 3, they just kind of jumped the shark. After that, they kind of went to this really arcadey kind of super fast paced kind of thing that wasn't my jam. Overall, I had a pretty good impression of the game, even from this small little bit of it I got to see. Honestly, I wasn't that excited that it was coming out, and I could care less. And then I played the beta, and I'm like, you know what? This could actually be cool.
What do you think about the visuals, Peter? I think it looks and runs great. I had some issues with trying to make it look not blurry on my PC, but once I think it was maybe TAA or some sort of anti-aliasing combination. I was running it on ultra with very high frame rates and no dips, no dips, no stutters in beta.
Normally, I spend a lot of time tweaking the graphics and stuff, especially when a game first comes out. Because when it starts dropping below 100 or 90 frames, then I start panicking.
Oh my god!
But I'm so spoiled. I'm so spoiled.
No, I'm absolutely the same.
But it looks great and it runs pretty well.
The maps that we had access to in the beta, 2 of them were like pretty small,
really
urban
small
maps.
Yeah, tiny. Yeah.
And then one of them was supposed to be the bigger of the 3, and it is, but it's still, that map was still very small compared to like Battlefield 3 and 4 maps. Am I going crazy, or
I won't say it's basically 2 choke points. You basically have 2 paths. There's a little bit of coverage between those, but it just devolves into a bottleneck on either side. That speaks about map design when you have bottlenecks like that. I kind of saw that issue with the city maps too.
Maybe that's just the map philosophy they're going for.
I'll give them that though, that this is only 3 out of whatever they
9.
have.
I want to say 9. That's the number that's coming into my head.
And then obviously they're going to add more down the line. Oh man, if they add Bad Company 2 maps, I am in. That had some of the most fun, solid maps.
This Battlefield Portal thing from 2042 is returning. It's like mod tools, basically. The community can make their own. Well, in 2042, the way it works was you could pick like modern guns or World War II guns, etc., even though they weren't in the base game. And you could also pick like World War II maps and things like that, even though they weren't in the base game. And you could also fuck around with the rules. I remember it being shit. That concept is returning in this game.
I could see that being cool. If it depends a lot on the execution, but anytime you give player controls over custom content, even if it's just custom servers, huge plus. I think just the idea is great. Hopefully they don't flub it like they did last time, though.
Based on what y'all played in the beta, does Battlefield 6, is it going to get a buy from you? Is this going to get $70 from you, or is this a day one? Or I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a pre-order.
I'm definitely interested. Yeah, I don't know if I'd pre-order, but I'm definitely gonna grab it.
There's no universe where it comes out on October 10th, whatever the date is, and my friends are playing it, and I don't get it. So I'm like, I may as well just take the hit now. Personally, I think I had 0 technical issues, apart from the thing where I said the game looked blurry, but that's not a technical issue. That was just me fucking with like settings. The netcode wasn't great because I've seen some horrendous clips of people getting fucked over by netcode.
It felt like they had some visibility issues, you know.
Oh, they do. That's one of the worst things.
What do you mean visibility? Like just fog effects in game, or
the main occasions where I noticed it are where you are inside a building looking out, or vice versa. You're outside a building looking in. Because of the way they've made the lighting look realistic, you know, where they kind of expose out the other extreme of the light of like the light environment that you're in. That led to like bad visibility a lot of times. I saw a lot of clips of it on YouTube, and I just noticed it in every game myself as well. So if you were inside a building and you tried to look out of a doorway, because they've tried to make the visual engine look like a real camera, obviously, the outside daylight just looks like blown out. This isn't just a Battlefield thing. This happens in a lot of games, but it was very strong in this game. The outdoors looks completely blown out, like white, until you walk over to it, and then it focuses back in the outdoors. That happened a lot in this game, and it also was vice versa. When you tried to look inside, it just looked black. Like inside doorways just looked black sometimes, and that I think that got me killed.
Only problem.
No, but that got me killed a couple of times in the beta because there was someone shooting me, and I was probably obvious to them, but I couldn't see anything on my screen. It was just completely blown out.
Well, like I said, I feel like a lot of the changes were directly in regards to making it more adaptable to COD players as far as the speed and the time to kill and stuff. Because it definitely seems different than the rest of the Battlefield series, wouldn't you say?
I definitely think it still comfortably feels Battlefield. Like, I think there's a couple of people out there.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of people out there potentially exaggerating, saying that it's like, you know, they just turned the movement into Call of Duty. Like, you know, it's got like demon movement and stuff like that. Like, it really doesn't. Like, even if you go back and look at 3 and 4, you know, you could jump around like a fucking seal in that game as well. Like, it's not completely unique to this game, but it's this game, like you said, this game definitely is faster in terms of like sprint speed and the slide. Oh my god, slide. Fuck slide. Fuck slide. I forgot I wanted to rant about slide so bad. I'm sorry, Clyde, but like I have this
What's wrong with slide? I like slide. Slide's fun.
I have this built up contempt for slide in games because I feel like it just gets added out of this made up necessity, like pressure in every FPS game of all time since like Titanfall came out. They're all like Halo, like Halo Infinite, they were like, oh yeah, we're going back to our roots. They weren't. Going back to our roots, like, look at this game, look at the Halo 3, like, coat of paint, look, and then, oh, but we added slide. Like, why of all things slide? Why is slide the only thing that no matter what the developers say about how they want to, you know, their philosophy for reinventing your franchise or a sequel, no matter what they say, they still put slide in the game every time. It's like they just think that they have to when they don't. I promise you they don't. I promise if an FPS game came out right now without slide, no one would care. Yeah, I worry that slide is like a mainstay in FPS. I really worry. It's like games went a long time without slide. We can survive without slide again. Some people acted on Twitter like, oh, slide, you got COD kids sliding around. Everyone's sliding around, jumping around, killing me. I'll be honest. I got killed by like a COD movement kid, maybe like once or twice in the whole beta. I really didn't think it was that much of an issue because it's still Battlefield. As long as you play like Battlefield, you'll probably win anyway, if that makes sense. The game is still very much a Battlefield game. It's not like this game hasn't like transformed into COD or anything. You still have to play Battlefield.
My biggest gripe that pushes the needle more towards COD play is the time to kill. Like I can't remember a Battlefield that had such a low time to kill as this game.
For me, like if the game launched with that time to kill, I'd probably be happy. Like I would be happy with it being a bit slower. But if this was it, I'd take it. We are overanalyzing the fuck out of it, but it is important to say that all this was fun over the weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, we got to nitpick some stuff.
But we do. It's fun. It's discussion. The maps being too small, I think, is the most prominent thing I've heard. Like through looking at other people's discourse, that's every YouTube video people are saying the maps were too small. I hope the other 6 maps, at least like half of them, are way bigger than this. Like way bigger because they're far too small. Even the outdoor map, I feel like you could run across it in a couple of minutes. It's just not that large. The big thing is the fact that EA, DICE, whatever, have quite confidently taken a stance that they are not going to add silly, unrealistic clown skins to the game. And I think that was honestly, in my opinion, that's a big part of the overwhelming support for this game. Battlefield have come out with this stance saying that they're not going to do that. And now finally it looks like there's somewhere for these people who are just absolutely come to the breaking point, like fed up of games that have no identity, basically. Games that have no identity, no theme, no vibe. And Battlefield 6 looks like it's one of those games, like I'm sure you picked up on it in the beta as well, Peter. This game has a fucking vibe. This game has a massive vibe, and a big part of it is everyone wearing the uniforms. I think people really underestimate how important that is. Everyone having like war accurate, or you know what I mean, like everyone having realistic-ish voice lines, and also wearing matching uniform. Just everyone wearing matching uniform. I think that's so cool. When you and the boys are in the game and you're in your squad, and then you've also got like random people running past you, and you're all wearing matching uniform, but you've all got, you know, like your medic skin, your recon skin.
It gives you a sense of unity.
And, it's cool.
And cohesion, and like you feel like you're in a battle. Yeah. You're not just, you know, playing with a bunch of superheroes, you know, or pretending to be your own, you know, special guy. You're actually
that's it.
You know,
you're not a special guy. You are just a fucking, you know, you're just a pawn.
I actually, I want to say, I'm working on a Black Ops episode for Not Your Friend, rebranded to Salt Buff. This quote that we're talking about, the like Battlefield 6 design director saying like this game doesn't need Nicki Minaj. I think this is a super deliberate statement at a super specific time. And people being like, look how wholesome they're being. Like, no, this is marketing 101, and it could not be more effective right now. The Beavis and Butthead skin is controversial. All these new skins are controversial. and conveniently, COD's Battlefield design director is like, we don't need Nicki Minaj. It's super deliberate, and it is like a masterclass in marketing. You don't need to pay a million ads. This one quote is now been spammed across 10, 50, 100 different gaming sites by not even paying for it. They didn't even pay for it. All they said was, our game doesn't need Nicki Minaj. Boom. It gets in front of millions of gamers' eyeballs, and it connects with them at a very deliberate time.
Can I point out how absolutely unhinged it is that someone even has to say this in the first place?
Right, right. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. This is like, what universe are we in?
Oh, man. COD has lost the plot, and I'm not surprised that gamers are flocking to Battlefield 6, and I'm glad people are having good experiences. It's wild just how much that community itself has like become fragmented, because like there are people who don't even want campaigns in COD games or Black Ops games. They're just like, screw it, I don't even need a campaign anymore. And it's crazy to me that we're in a timeline where you now have 7 different communities that are all shoved into one game or shoved into one brand, and it's like it's really is an interesting situation. And Battlefield's doing the opposite, right? They're basically saying, no, we are only one brand here. We are one vision here. If you're here for the we're here for the realism, or you're not here for this. Like that, get out and go find your other game. And that's
my ears perked up when someone said Battle Royale, because according to many leaks and rumors that are practically confirmed, Battlefield 6 will have Battle Royale. Bum, bum, bum. What does this mean? Without seeing it, there's no way to know. Could potentially just be a harmless little addition to the game. Could also be their excuse to separate it from the main game and fill it with microtransactions. I can see it. It's not off the table, in my opinion.
You know what? As someone who probably wouldn't play it, whatever. Do what you want. Just keep it out of the main game.
All right.
Keep it out of the main game, and I'm fine with it,
I think you're in the minority there, Peter. I think most fans would reject that. Like, you sold us this game on not advertising Nicki Minaj skins to us, and I boot the game up and I see a Nicki Minaj skin ad, I think they would get
I don't expect them to go full Call of Duty with the costumes.
No,
and stuff.
I don't.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're going to segregate a lot of the gameplay and stuff that's different. Honestly, they could go a bit more wacky in that, and I wouldn't care as much. But just that it's kept segregated is fine with me.
Yeah, I think we talked about this yesterday while we were playing. Like, if it comes out and it's just a separate thing, because I haven't been into battle royales for a long time. I've had my phases, but in general, they just make me mad, and I'm not like a big fan. So as long as that came out and it was like separate, and I didn't have to, it wasn't like injected into the main game in ways where it crossover with multiplayer in terms of like skins crossover. If it was a separate entity, obviously I don't care. Obviously, because it's not affecting me. I can just ignore it. So that would be fine. That would be fine.
How did that work in Call of Duty? There was crossover, right? You had skins in both.
So the store in Call of Duty is for both. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Just checking.
Yeah. Like, you go to the main menu in Call of Duty and it's like campaign, zombies, Warzone, multiplayer. Jesus, I'm losing track. There's so many. But anyway.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, but the store is like, apart from campaign, obviously, the store is across all of those. So in zombies, which this also was a big hit on zombies as well, because Black Ops 6 Zombies actually launched with some pretty cool vibey maps. Like creepy maps.
I think it's completely in tune for zombies to have that kind of wackiness,
Are you joking? No way. That's the horror.
What?
That's the horror game mode.
Horror. I mean, come on. Like,
obviously, it hasn't been scary for a long time, but it was originally in World at War. It was creepy in World at War. Do you understand what I mean when I say
I get the point.
It's like were very vibey, and when you put the skins in it, you rob it. You rob zombies of identity, basically, because everyone is looking at fucking Family Guy characters. You rob things of creative identity. That's basically what it is. And zombies is like a PvE thing, so I feel like it's more important in that.
It's funny. Call of Duty is like ripping off. Well, you could say they're taking inspiration from Fortnite. With all these wacky skins, and then here's Battlefield, taking inspiration from Call of Duty. So it's kind of like the meme where like the guy is looking to the left, while the guy next to him is reaching for his money, and that's, the guy looking to the left is Fortnite, and then Call of Duty is reaching in for the money, and meanwhile, on his side, Battlefield is reaching for Call of Duty's money, because they're seeing their loss of customers, and they're like, whoa, look what we got now, right?
That was a big controversy when they announced back in Black Ops Cold War, which was the Treyarch game before the one that's currently running. They announced that you aren't, because there used to always be a cast of 4 that you play as, and they have their own lines in zombies for every single map. That's been how it's been forever. In Cold War, they announced that you can play as the cast, and they'll have some voice lines. They tried to make it sound like it wasn't going to change, but you can also play as whoever you want. So your multiplayer. So they're saying the store skins are going to be usable in zombies as well, because for them that adds value. Because the people who play zombies, which has a big community, all of a sudden now they're looking at the store, because now they know, okay, I can use these skins in zombies. Let's see if I like any, That's just extra money for Activision. And that was a big controversy at the time, because zombies has always had its cast with like unique dialogue and unique animations and unique story moments and stuff. And those were They acted like this wasn't going to happen, but it was obviously that it would. That it was obvious that it would happen. Those moments started to be diminished because Activision were like, okay, well, if everyone's just playing as their own silly skins anyway, then what's the point of doing any character specific stuff? So they just didn't. If that makes sense.
You'd probably know better than me as a COD enjoyer.
That came out with such venom.
That's so shady. Like, damn, Peter.
I tried to make it sound silly like COD piece, but you're right. It sounded like a slur or something. But as someone who's kept the series, when would you say was the point they jumped the shark as far as these wacky costumes?
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which I might need a fact check, but I think that's from 2014. So that's over 10 years old at this point. That was the game where clown skins and stuff were introduced, and there was celebrities in it and things like that. I think, if I'm remembering far back enough, I can't remember who, but I think it might have had Snoop Dogg in it at some point. That was such a funny sentence, but like, you know, that was the beginning. But then it was tame. It stayed like that for a couple of years, but then I think like COVID, like Warzone time, because obviously that's when they really started putting effort into the shop, the store. Warzone time was when shit just hit the fan. Like,
right.
That's when
I noticed it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I want to say the point I noticed it was when they added Homelander to Warzone, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a big deal here. Warzone was obviously a push for a lot of the MTX, right? Because it was so popular and it was free to play. So, yeah. It's a really perfect sequence of events from Activision's perspective when you think about it. Warzone comes out, it's free. You can buy the skins, but those skins also work in the game that you just paid $70 for. So those people who just paid $70, you're also buying MTX, but so are the Warzone players. Like, oh my god, whew, that was a little bit of a masterclass from Activision right there.
Yep.
But
yeah. PR had dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah.